Delighted to have on the Business Spotlight with me today, Peter Walker of Maryculter House Hotel. Peter, thanks for joining me.
You're welcome, no problem.
So, anyone, I guess, in Aberdeen will be probably familiar with Maryculter House Hotel, but anyone further afield might not. So, share with the viewers a bit about yourself and the business that you're...
So Maryculter House was built by the Knights Templars back in 1225. So we're currently about 14 months away from our 800th anniversary.
Wow. It
was built as a Knights Templars Hospitaller. So, you know, our marketing strapline is hospitality since 1225. We believe the Templars had a connection here until the late 1500s into the 1600s, and then the Menzies family had Maryculter House, and the family name was Menzies of Pitfoddles, which, as some of you all know, Pitfoddles is a suburb of Aberdeen, and they lived at Maryculter House. And the Menzies family were very open supporters of the Stuart cause and the Jacobite cause in the 15 and 45 rebellions. We know for a fact that William Menzies was in Aboyne Castle in the summer of 1715 when the plan for the 15 uprising was hatched, and they marched to Braemar to raise the Jacobite standard on the 6th of September 1715. And then we know the family are written about as being on the battlefield at Sheriff Muir that year. That Jacobite uprising obviously didn't last very long, and then Bonnie Prince Charlie landed on the 19th of August 1745, and once again the Menzies family came out in support of the Stuart cause and the Bonnie Prince, and we believe they aligned themselves with the Irvine family at Drum Castle. I came here and took over running the business towards the tail end of 2018. The history, you know, was a big part of the excitement and the draw to come here. And we always knew, it was always spoken about that there had been men from Maryculter on the battlefield at Culloden. So we've now got the evidence of that. We now know that there was 6 men in total from Maryculter House on the battlefield at Culloden, and we now know that they all survived. If you go onto Maryculter's Instagram page on the 17th of April this year, we published extracts of documents written by the Redcoats in 1746. There's a bill of attainder and a bill of grace. So the fact that they were spared post Culloden shows that they must have had some sort of significant influence on the country at the time, and we believe we've found what could be prisoner transfer records of them being 4 of them being put into the Black Watch. We suspect one of them's popped up in Sweden, and then there's one we can't trace. But what we have managed to find is that just before Bonnie Prince Charlie boarded the French ship to escape from Skye, I think it was September 1746, we found documentation that shows that he paid a Menzies man and potentially his family to travel with him. So, you know, putting 2 and 2 together, we're almost at 4. So potentially one of the family members escaped over the sea with Bonnie Prince Charlie. And then if you fast forward 150-ish years, Sir Cosmo Duff Gordon and his wife, they moved here in 1913. He was an Olympian fencer and competed for Great Britain at the 1906 Olympic Games, and his wife was a hugely successful woman in textiles and clothing and whatnot, and they lived here from 1913 until approximately 1931, having survived the sinking of the Titanic.
Goodness me.
So we've got a long, and I would dare say checkered history at times, because you can't be around for 800 years without having a few skeletons in the closet. So it's really exciting. It's a huge draw for people to come here, particularly the overseas market, and we're now trying to theme. We've got some themed dining packages and some of our whiskey flights and our beers and things in the bar are little nods to our history here and there as well.
Fantastic. So I guess, does that then attract people from all over the world to?
Yeah, 100% does. I mean, initially when you would go to trade shows and travel shows and things, and maybe I knew some of the clients before, but they had no preconception of Maryculter House. And the minute you say to them, in a 10-second burst, the Templars built it, the Jacobites were there, and the survivors of the Titanic, it's a huge draw. And our owners have been very supportive of the past 4 or 5 years since I arrived as well. We've refurbished most of the public areas, and 34 out of the 40 bedrooms have been done. So we're really appealing to that modern day traveller, but we've tried to keep the history and heritage that goes along with that. And absolutely, we attract a significant amount of Americans, German, French. We've had quite a few New Zealand and Australian visitors this summer. So it all helps with the storytelling. I think people now, when they're traveling away or traveling on holiday, or even if they're just looking for something local just to get a night away and some downtime, I think people they're more interested in that experiential side of hospitality, and being somewhere that's authentic and genuine. And that summary of the history I gave you, none of that's made up. It's all relative, and it's trackable, and it's real, and and I think that authentic experience is what people are looking for.
So yeah, I guess hospitality's changing then. Hospitality's changed over the last, big changes or big challenges over the 5 years that you've been at Maryculter.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, no one can ever dispute the impact that COVID has made on the industry. We were one of the first things to be taken away from people, and we were one of the last things to be given back. So I do think, and I hope that people value the value that hospitality brings to the country in terms of business and jobs and opportunities, and I think people are now more conscious of where they go and what they do and how they spend their money. I mean, during COVID, we were all part of the Buy Local and Support Local campaign to keep traders and fish merchants and butchers and things going. We're a small to medium-sized business owned by a local family. There's no difference there, and I think that helps because you're able to tell that local authentic story. But yeah, be under no disillusion that Maryculter House is far from immune from the challenges that have faced hospitality the past 2 or 3 years.
So I guess COVID,
yeah,
the cost of doing business,
yeah,
all the price hikes and everything, the shortage of talent, is that something that you've suffered from as well?
It's really interesting. I mean, we've got some amazing people here in the business. We've got people that are really committed. That experience, that I got a lot of criticism back in 2020, 2021 when we reopened from COVID, that we had a lot of young and inexperienced staff. But how else are we supposed to give these boys and girls experience if we don't put them in front of a customer? The hotel's not serviced by public transport, so people have to get their own way here. And I'm a huge believer, and particularly for some of the young ones, this might be their first job. We've got to make it's my life, and it's been my life for the past 25 plus years, this industry. But for some of our young ones and some of our more mature ones, it might just be a part-time job to see them through and things. But the life skills that this industry can give young people is incredible. You see it all the time. Some of the boys and girls that have been here for the past 2 or 3 years, you're watching them grow up from children into young men and women. And yes, there's a serious side to what we do, and it's an adult environment, and it's got to be done professionally and things, but you've got to make it a little bit fun for these kids to come into. I find it you know, we're custodians of the industry and we're custodians of the history around it, but I take a lot of satisfaction and humbleness the fact that these boys and girls want to travel to Maryculter House to be part of what we're doing. And it's important, certainly for me, that, you know, I know their names. If they're going to wait at university in another city, can I help them get a job? You know, how can I support them with their uni work or projects? And if there's having challenges with anything, can I help them? And I think that just helps strengthen the bond between us and the team, and it makes them want to come back. It's great when you see them come back at Christmas and Easter, and you know, and you've got to think that we're being part of these young people evolving, and hopefully, if they go on to have family and things in the years and decades to come, then, you know, they might look back on their time at Maryculter House and think that we gave them a good start.
I'm just thinking back to the 4 years that I spent working in a hotel, very similar to Maryculter, actually, when I was a student, and you'll have been the same. And I remember it fondly. And
honestly, it's the best industry in the world, and the camaraderie and the fun and the friendships that are developed and evolved out of hospitality. It's just fantastic.
And then I guess there are those that do it as something that enables them to continue with their studies and whatever. And there'll be those like yourself that make that their career.
Yeah, that's right. And there's also
people like yourself then to stay in hospitality.
What attracts us to stay?
Yeah, is it easy to find?
It's a way of life. It's not a, you know, you just have to speak to my family and they'll tell you about the countless events that I've missed and things I haven't been able to go to and things. But if you're in it and you sleep, eat, breathe, you know, it becomes for me personally, I mean, I'm probably wired a little bit differently than a lot of people, but for me, it becomes a little bit of an obsession, and it's just, you know, you're making memories for people, whether that be a wedding, a lunch, a conference. It allows you to build your own knowledge and your skills and your own self-awareness, and you can build your own reputation. And it's just, I just think it's incredible, and it can lead to so many other things. It doesn't have to just be hotels, you know, hospitality. And that's why I always say to the young people and people that are maybe looking to make a path in the way in their career, if you reach a level that you're comfortable with and you're happy with, then that's fine. You know, if you want to be the best kitchen porter and you keep your section clean and you're committed and you come in and you work hard and you have fun and you enjoy your job, then that's fine. And hospitality is everything from coffee shops and tea rooms to museums to resort hotels to cruise ships to Disney, you know, and then it's the other element of hospitality that you can branch off into, you know, whether it be sports stadiums, music venues, car companies, whiskey distilleries, golf clubs. It's just so broad. There's opportunities for everybody to find their place as to where they want to be and where they want to settle. And we also encourage apprenticeship training and modern day apprenticeships and SVQs because all of a sudden people can they can learn and work at the same time. So earn and learn, that's the phrase I was trying to get out. So they can earn a wage and still work towards a formal qualification. So yeah, it's great.
It's lovely to hear you talking so passionately about your industry.
You've got to, you know, there was an event a couple of years ago through the Master and Holders, and I think the phrase was, you know, battered but not broken. I just don't know what else that I would do, that I would want to do. I love it here. You know, I get free rein to come up with ideas and all, you know, and everything that we do. And you've got to be passionate about what we do because it's not an easy life. It's a hard life, but unbelievably rewarding on so many different levels.
So what have you said? You've had free reign from the owners of the business to come up with your ideas and everything. What are what you must have had to come up with lots to get you through the last few years. What have you got some examples for us?
I think it's all about, you know, what are our strengths as a property? Okay, so we've got history, we've got heritage, we've got tradition, we sit in the banks of the River Dee. Okay, so there's some 3 or 4 core strengths. What's round about that? Royal Deeside is a tourism hotspot. We work closely with the Highland Games, particularly Ballater and Braemar, and we've got a Boyne and Lonach and things as well. We created experiences round about the Highland Games world, and that's now starting to pay off. You know, we've got a Jacobite dining menu, which we tie into the history with whiskey tasting and matched drinks, and the ingredients all and the drinks all match in with different elements of the Jacobite rebellion in 1745. And I'm very blessed I seem to be able to come up with, you know, if I spot an opportunity, or, you know, what can we come up with alliteration to give us something that's a little bit different and a little bit unique without it being too crazy and too ill affordable either. You know, we're better off being affordably busy than really expensive and there's nobody here. So I probably come up with too many ideas at times, but it's picking that 2 or 3 at a time and harnessing it, and then what works in over the course of a year. Because it's, you know, we're sitting here just now, it's August 2023. We've sold most of our Braemar Games package for 2024 already.
And that doesn't happen till September. Yeah.
So we're 14 months ahead and we've sold, you know, but if you can create that exclusivity, a little bit of a buzz around it, and you make it special and you make people feel valued, and yes, I put a lot of my own personal time and effort into it because I enjoy it.
So what do you think are the challenges or where's the interest? What's going to happen in your industry? You know, what are the trends going forward? Where do you see it in 5 years' time?
I think as everybody knows, the industry's had some incredible challenges with COVID, post-COVID. We're now in a cost of living crisis where the cost of heat, light and power is probably more than double than what it was. You know, rates are expensive, food costs are volatile. Recruitment and staffing can be challenging, although that's started to settle a little bit, but, you know, that could change very, very quickly. I think that potentially October to March could be particularly challenging for some seasonal businesses. If you've had that cost of living crisis over the summer, and, you know, if you rely on a really good summer to see you through the winter and you've only had an average summer, you know, will that push some people just a little bit too far? Maybe it does. You know, there might be a little bit of the survival of the fittest out there to, you know, because it's tough. It's really tough if you're but I would like to think, you know, I would love to see a cut in VAT and rates by the government. I don't think that will happen, but that would, even if it was on accommodation and food, you know, that would just give the industry a shot in the arm, and, you know, and allow everybody to be a little bit more profitable, which, you know, would shore things up a little bit. But I don't doubt that this industry will be here forever, and it's just, in what shape does that look like in 5 years' time? I'm not sure, but one thing I am sure of is that we'll still be here offering, you know, a warm, friendly, inviting hotel that people can come and enjoy and absorb the spirits and the stories that come out of the stones and just be part of something really special.
And yeah, it is very special. And, you know, maybe we'll just finish off with that. It's a very, yeah, just the atmosphere in the hotel is something that you don't get in many.
No, and we just want people to feel welcome. So whether you're here for a wedding or for an afternoon tea, or if you're out fishing in the river, or, you know, if you just want to walk in and have tea and scones in the Great Hall, you know, everyone's welcome. Hospitality since 1225, and as we approach our 800th birthday, then, you know, we'll be making sure that the blocks are in place and the foundations are there, that Maryculter House can push on for hundreds of years more.
Well, I think you're doing very well in your role as custodian of that historic place. So yeah, I think it's great, and thank you very much for being.
No, you're more than welcome. Delighted and humbled to have been asked to be part of it. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And anyone can find more information on the website for Maryculter House.
Yeah, maryculterhouse.com or Instagram. If you search for Maryculter House on Instagram and Facebook, but we put a lot of time and effort into making sure our social channels are up to date. But yeah, would love to see some more people follow us on Instagram.
Fantastic. Thank you, Peter.
Okay, thanks very much.